Cougar Cassius Rifle TV in association with Macklin's Gym Harbour with the Landmark Hotel for the announcement of Tyson Fury, who will be fighting at the O2 on the 28th of February. With me I've got promoter Mick Hennessy. How are you, Mick?
Very good, Coogan.
Yeah?
Yeah, very good.
Obviously Frank Warren said he's hoping to announce an opponent by now. It hasn't happened, but a few more days and we'll be there.
Yeah, I think within a week it will, we'll have the right opponent, and obviously it's got to be someone who's credible, and in an ideal situation it'd be great to get someone, a modern day heavyweight to get as close to Klitschko as possible, really.
Yeah, is it important obviously not to have too much of a risk with his mandatory situation?
It's a fine line, isn't it?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Tyson wants the fights to get him ready for the likes of Vladimir Klitschko. He's in the past when he was coming through early in his career, we'd get him an opponent and he'd say, kind of get me someone harder than that.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable, his attitude, to be fair. So I'm sure we'll get someone that will be where everyone will be happy.
Yeah. Are you going to look to find someone with a similar style to Klitschko and of a size?
It's not easy, is it? But if that was the case, we would go for it, obviously. But it's not an easy thing to do.
I'm of a similar size and height to Klitschko. I was just throwing it in there.
Yeah. Put a body bag on you and some gloves.
I'll be in a body bag. I don't know about that. Tyson said for the last year and a half, 2 years, that he thinks that Klitschko won't ever fight him, and listening to him up there, he still seems to have them doubts that he will actually fight him.
I've agreed with Tyson all the way through, because before there was just no interest. There weren't even any negotiations, there weren't any talk of money. But I think now they're looking at this fight and they know it's the biggest fight in world boxing. They've realised that this could generate ridiculous amounts of money compared to even what they've been getting in Germany. So I think commercially that's what's going to drive this situation. They realise what Tyson brings to the table now.
How realistic is it to think about getting Vladimir Klitschko over here?
Well, just as I said, that sort of like sparked my interest to sort of like a couple of years ago when he was over here quite a lot and he was talking about fighting in the UK and he expressed a strong interest. I do think that a bigger fight could be made of it in the UK than Germany. So I think at the end of the day they're businessmen, they're great businessmen. Between the Klitschkos and Bernd Bundt and Tom Loeffler, they're very shrewd people, and if it commercially stacks up, I think there's a great chance of getting in the UK.
He's not obviously known to fight out of Germany too often in recent years. I know he fought in Russia, I think it was last year. But it'd be great for this country, obviously in UK boxing, to have a spectacle like that between Tyson and Klitschko here.
It would, for sure, and they're obviously talking about him going to America in March, stroke early April. So he is taking it on the road at the moment, definitely. So it would be fantastic for the UK and Ireland. Something like that would just be incredible.
Frank Warren mentioned an option for Tyson is the January 17th fight in Las Vegas between Stavern and Wilder.
Yeah.
Will you send Tyson out there for that?
What, for the fight?
For the fight, just to...
He's obviously going to be deep in his training camp with Peter, really, because he's Feb 28th is not that far away. In an ideal situation, it would be great to have him at ringside, but travelling to the US and back, as we all know, jet lag.
Yeah.
When you get there, jet lag when you get back, it can really disrupt the camp. But I might have to look at being at that fight because the outcome of that fight, there's going to be, there's a lot of potential scenarios, really.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Like I said, Frank made a good point there that boxing changes every day, doors open every day, and what was yesterday isn't necessarily today. So
exactly, and I think the day after that fight, I think all will become clear about how the heavyweight scene's going to open up. And what fights are going to be there to be made and what fights aren't. So I think that's a critical fight to the puzzle, really.
Does Tyson's inactivity concern you at all?
No, because it didn't go into the Chisora fight. Obviously, it's not ideal But what I would say, sometimes you've got to look in situations like what's happened, which was off the chart really. It was like crazy, you know, that sort of like 12 to 18 months. But sometimes, you know, Tyson being in constant world-class training camps with Peter, it was giving him a chance to sort of like relax and, you know, work on his technique and work on his conditioning and everything else that went with it. And, you know, through them camps, he's come on so much as a fighter. Forget the actual fights, because sometimes if you're fighting back to back, it's pressure. You know, what he's been doing constantly in the gym with Peter has been phenomenal, like technically and for his strength and conditioning, and also for mentally as well. So I see the difference in him. I mean, we was going to get something spectacular for the Hay fight, but now mentally and physically he's going to be even in a better place than he was for the Hay fight when he comes for this world title fight. So I don't think the inactivity has hurt him in any way. You see what happened with Derek Chisora. It was a complete masterclass. Brilliant tactics with Peter and Tyson. And look at the rounds he got in the bank as well. I mean, if there was any rust, he shook it off now, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
He's good to go.
I know what Tyson was saying earlier on. He said there's a difference between beating the man to get the title and obviously fighting for the vacant title. But you as his promoter, Mick, what would you rather happen? Would you rather him... Klitschko is currently the #1 heavyweight in the world.
Yeah.
Would you rather him have to fight Klitschko? Would you rather him have to fight someone and a better chance of winning that title? What's better for you?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I'd rather he fights Klitschko.
Really?
I know how good he is. I really, really know how good he is. And I know that someone like Vladimir is going to bring the best out in him. I've felt it from day one, and this kid's special. He's very, very, very special. He's, you know, if you see him run 100 metres, or you see him, you know, whatever he does, whatever, you know, sport he puts his hands to, you know, whether even if he runs 5 miles or something like that, he's an athlete. He's a real athlete. He's got a big engine. He's got, you know, he's got a massive heart. And when he needs to, he'll take it to whoever. And I think with Vladimir Klitschko, that's his destiny. That's going to make him the legend that he has the potential of being. And I would much rather he gets that fight and becomes what he's destined to be.
All right. Well, listen, 2015 promises all sorts. So let's just hope it all delivers and happens. So.
For sure, I think it's going to be a great year for boxing, and we've all got to think outside the box and make the fights.
Absolutely. All right. Well, listen, Mick Hennessy, thanks for talking to IFL TV. Any news on Kid Galahad at the moment?
We're looking at a fight in March for him at the moment.
Okay.
He just obviously he was due to fight in December, but he weren't well, and that put him back quite a few weeks. So we're rescheduling something for March. So I'm speaking to.
Okay.
Speaking to the Ingles, and you know, we're going to work out when he's ready, and we're going to do something exciting with him. And next year he will be world champion as well.
Certainly hope so. All right, Mick. Thanks for talking to us, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, Coogan, and thanks for your great support this year.
No problem. It's just what we do. Thank you very much, Mick.
Cheers.